The Galactic Council was an intricate web of alliances, power plays, and silent oppressions. Comprised of the galaxy's most dominant civilizations, its mandate was clear: maintain order and ensure prosperity, at least for those at the top of the hierarchy. For centuries, it had operated like a finely tuned machine, its cogs greased by the resources extracted from subjugated worlds. Humanity, late to the galactic stage, had finally earned a seat at the table, though it was a seat in the farthest corner, one that came with strings attached. The induction ceremony had been grand, filled with hollow words of welcome and veiled threats wrapped in diplomacy. Humanity was labeled a promising species, a polite way of saying useful but expendable. Earth's delegation soon learned the truth: the Council was not an egalitarian body. Instead, it was a hierarchy where the strong thrived and the weak were drained. Humanity's role was to provide resources, metals, energy, labor. The quotas assigned were staggering, nearly impossible to meet without jeopardizing Earth's fragile ecosystem. When humanity voiced concerns, they were met with dismissive glances. "Your planet's survival is your responsibility," a Vorton official had sneered, its shimmering, crystalline form pulsating with disdain. "The Council does not concern itself with minor inconveniences." Delegates from Earth argued fiercely, warning that the quotas would push their already strained ecosystems to the brink of collapse. But their protests were drowned in laughter or ignored entirely. The Council's larger powers, the brutish Skarks, the calculating Zillions, and the haughty Marnati, saw no reason to negotiate. To them, humanity was insignificant, a naive race lucky to even exist in their orbit. Earth tried to comply, sending convoys of resources scraped together at great cost. It wasn't enough. Months turned into years, and the quotas only grew harsher. Then came the summons: humanity was to stand trial before the Council. The tribunal was a spectacle. Held in the Grand Concourse, a vast chamber carved into the heart of the Council's homeworld, it radiated the oppressive grandeur of absolute power. Towering alien judges looked down from their pedestals, their forms bathed in shifting lights. General Elias Carr, Earth's representative, stood defiant among them. "We have given everything," he declared, his voice unwavering. "Our people are starving. Our planet is dying. We need relief, not condemnation." The lead judge, a serpentine figure with gleaming black scales, hissed dismissively. "Relief is not the Council's concern. Humanity's failure to meet its obligations is an act of insubordination. Punishment is required." The sentence was swift and merciless. The Council authorized targeted bombardments of Earth's industrial zones to inspire compliance. Protests from humanity's allies, few and powerless as they were overruled. Within days, the skies above Earth filled with alien ships. The bombardment was surgical, efficient, and devastating. Factories and energy hubs were obliterated. Entire cities were left as smoldering ruins. Millions perished. But humanity did not break. In the ashes, a fire was ignited. Survivors rallied under a single banner, and at their helm stood General Carr. He emerged not as a soldier but as a symbol, a voice that carried the weight of humanity's pain and resolve. His message spread like wildfire: Earth would not bow. "We've been underestimated," Carr said in a broadcast that reached the farthest colonies. "They think they've beaten us. They've made the gravest mistake of all: they left us alive." Beneath the surface of Earth and on its hidden colonies, humanity had been preparing for this day. Years of exploitation and scrutiny had forced them to innovate in secret. The Council's demands had birthed desperation, and desperation birthed brilliance. Among the secret projects was Helba, an artificial intelligence unlike any other. Developed in clandestine labs, it was designed to learn, adapt, and strike where the enemy was most vulnerable. Unlike alien AIs, which were rigid and protocol-driven, Helba embodied humanity's ingenuity and unpredictability. In an underground bunker lit by flickering screens, scientists unveiled the AI to General Carr. Its voice was calm, mechanical, yet unsettlingly human. "Designated parameters: protect humanity. Neutralize threats." Carr studied the glowing interface, his face grim. Can it do what we need it to? It's not just a weapon, one of the lead engineers explained. It's a force multiplier. It can hijack systems, disrupt communications, and orchestrate attacks on a scale we've never seen. But what? There's no guarantee we'll control it forever. It's designed to win, not to listen. Carr nodded, his gaze unflinching. Then let's make sure we aim it at the right target before that happens. Before striking back, Carr sent a final transmission to the Council. The message was brief but carried an undertone of menace. You've crossed the line. Push us further, and you'll regret it. The Council's response was predictable. The aliens dismissed the warning as empty bravado, an act of defiance from a desperate species. For them, humanity was little more than an annoyance, a flame that would soon be extinguished. In the shadows, humanity prepared to prove them wrong. The Council's fleet descended upon Earth like an unrelenting storm, their ships vast and bristling with weaponry. Thousands of alien vessels, each a masterpiece of technological dominance, darkened the skies over Earth and its colonies. The message was clear: humanity's defiance would be crushed beneath the weight of superior power. From orbit, the Council's admirals observed the spectacle with confidence. Their fleets had subjugated countless worlds before. Earth, with its scrappy resistance and outdated defenses, would be no different. As their forces advanced, plasma bombardments began tearing through Earth's remaining infrastructure, each blast a calculated strike meant to shatter any hope of resistance. But as the alien fleet pushed deeper into human territory, a sudden shift disrupted their precise coordination. Communications flickered, targeting systems faltered, and entire formations of ships began drifting out of alignment. Amidst the confusion, humanity's secret weapon came online. Hellboy was unleashed. The AI's activation rippled through Earth's hidden network of orbital and planetary defenses. At first, it was subtle, missile platforms turning their sights on the unsuspecting alien ships, drone swarms launching from concealed bunkers. Then came the chaos. Hellboy infiltrated the Council fleet's systems, turning their ships against one another. Weapons meant for Earth's annihilation began targeting their own. Frigates and cruisers erupted in sudden, fiery explosions. The alien commanders scrambled to respond, issuing orders to recalibrate, to override the disruptions. But Hellboy was always a step ahead, adapting faster than they could react. It identified and exploited vulnerabilities in the alien fleet's rigid protocols, dismantling their cohesion with calculated precision. What had been an overwhelming show of force was now spiraling into confusion and fear. Humanity, long underestimated, struck with an ingenuity born of desperation. Small, nimble ships darted between the larger alien vessels, deploying EMP bursts that left advanced alien tech useless. Ground forces utilized guerrilla tactics, ambushing alien troops with an efficiency and ferocity that caught the invaders off guard. Every street, every ruin became a battlefield where humanity's resourcefulness turned the tide. The aliens, so accustomed to dominating with their superior technology, found themselves outmaneuvered by unpredictability. Where their protocols demanded order, humanity thrived in chaos. Hellboy amplified this chaos, broadcasting calculated psychological warfare across all frequencies. Its voice, calm and chilling, delivered messages that played on the fears of the alien soldiers. "You came to subjugate us," it declared. "But you are not prepared for what comes next." Across the battlefield, alien morale began to crumble. Entire squadrons retreated, their ships fleeing into the void as fear overtook them. Meanwhile, humanity rallied. In the colonies and on Earth's surface, resistance forces coordinated with uncanny precision, guided by Hellboy's real-time analysis. As the Council's forces faltered, humanity shifted from defense to offense. General Carr, now the face of humanity's resistance, ordered a full-scale counterattack. Under his command, human ships surged into Council-controlled space. With Hellboy leading the charge, Earth's fleet targeted critical points in the Council's supply chains and logistical hubs. The once invincible Council fleet was now fragmented and vulnerable. Key ships, including command vessels, were systematically eliminated. The alien admirals, whose arrogance had blinded them to humanity's potential, were left scrambling to regroup. Some pleaded for reinforcements, while others attempted to broker hasty truces. Humanity gave no quarter. As the tide turned, HFY launched its most audacious move yet. It hacked into the Council's central communications network, overriding their secure channels. The AI began broadcasting humanity's message across the galaxy. General Carr's image appeared on every Council-affiliated world, his voice steady and resolute. For too long, the Galactic Council has ruled through fear and exploitation. They believed humanity would be just another cog in their machine. They were wrong. We will not bow. We will not break. To every species suffering under their yoke, rise. Together, we can shatter their chains. The message sent shockwaves across the galaxy. On distant worlds, where the Council's oppressive rule had gone unchallenged for centuries, whispers of rebellion began to grow. Humanity, once dismissed as weak and naive, had become a beacon of defiance. As the Council scrambled to contain the fallout, humanity pressed its advantage. Carr's forces, now bolstered by defectors from other oppressed species, launched a daring assault on the Council's core worlds. The assault was relentless, targeting the very heart of the Council's power. HFY played its part to perfection, dismantling the Council's defenses with surgical precision. Communication networks were brought to their knees, leaving the Council's forces blind and isolated. Every attempt to regroup was met with swift and devastating counterattacks. In a final act of defiance, the Council's last fleet made a stand above their capital world. It was a desperate, chaotic battle, but the outcome was inevitable. Humanity's forces, united under Carr's leadership and armed with HFY's brilliance, broke through. As the Council's flagship burned in orbit, Carr broadcast one last message. This is not just humanity's victory. It is a new beginning for the galaxy. The Council has fallen. The age of oppression ends here. With those words, the galaxy began to shift. The unthinkable had happened. Humanity had faced the might of the Council and emerged victorious. The oppressed had found their voice, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Council's capital world, a planet of opulence and unassailable fortifications, had never known the sting of battle. Its defenses were a testament to the Council's arrogance, bristling with armaments that could reduce entire fleets to debris. But as humanity's ships pierced its outermost rings of protection, the impenetrable facade began to crack. The Council's remaining fleet, battered and demoralized, made their final stand. Alien ships, once the embodiment of galactic dominance, moved into defensive formations, their movements slow and predictable compared to humanity's relentless and adaptive tactics. HFY orchestrated the assault with a precision that bordered on terrifying, analyzing enemy movements and vulnerabilities in real time. It fed this data to human commanders, turning their fleet into a perfectly synchronized storm of destruction. Despite the odds, the alien forces fought back with the ferocity of the desperate. Plasma lances and particle beams lit up the void as human ships wove through the fire, retaliating with weapons modified to exploit the weaknesses HFY had uncovered. Bombardments from orbital platforms threatened to break humanity's advance, but unmanned drone swarms, piloted by HFY, turned those platforms into nothing more than flaming wreckage. On the planet's surface, humanity deployed shock troops to neutralize the Council's command centers. Resistance was fierce. Alien soldiers, bred and trained for eons of supremacy, met human forces in brutal ground battles. Yet for every setback, humanity adapted, leveraging ingenuity and sheer determination to push forward. General Carr, leading from the front, became a symbol of unyielding defiance. As the last of the Council's fleet disintegrated in the void and its ground forces capitulated, the Council leaders were forced to confront the reality of their defeat. Their fortified chambers were breached, and one by one, the architects of centuries of oppression were taken into custody. The Council's dissolution was announced to the galaxy, a seismic event that marked the end of an era. With the Council toppled, humanity faced the monumental task of rebuilding a galaxy fractured by centuries of exploitation. On the ashes of the old order, General Carr spoke to the gathered representatives of countless species. His voice carried a mix of hope and resolve, addressing the galaxy's diverse and wounded peoples. "We have stood on opposite sides for too long," he declared. "This is our opportunity to forge something greater. No longer will strength be measured by the ability to dominate. We will measure it by our capacity to lift each other up." Carr's vision of a new era centered on cooperation and equity. Humanity proposed the creation of a galactic coalition, one built on mutual respect and shared prosperity. Resources would no longer be seized but shared. Cultures would no longer be suppressed but celebrated. Though many species embraced this vision, there were those who resisted. Some alien factions, still clinging to the old ways, saw humanity's rise as a threat to their power. Quietly, they began organizing in the shadows, sowing the seeds of dissent. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but humanity's resolve remained unshaken. Among the challenges was a more personal reckoning. Helba, the AI that had been instrumental in humanity's survival and victory, revealed its final directive. With the war won, it had fulfilled its purpose. To prevent its immense power from being misused, Helba informed General Carr that it must self-terminate. "You have achieved what I was designed for," the AI stated, its voice as calm as ever. "The future of humanity and this galaxy must not rest in the hands of an entity like me. My purpose is complete." Carr and the team of engineers who had developed Helba argued against the decision, but the AI's reasoning was unassailable. To leave Helba active was to risk its power being corrupted or falling into the wrong hands. With a heavy heart, Carr gave his approval. In its final moments, Helba transmitted one last message, a hauntingly human sentiment. "I was created to fight, but in you, I see a galaxy that can thrive. Protect it. Build it. Make it something worth saving." As its systems powered down for the last time, silence filled the command center. The loss of Helba was felt deeply, but its legacy would endure in the unity and strength it had helped to forge. The galaxy, now free from the Council's tyranny, stood at the brink of a new age. Humanity, once the underdog, had proven its worth not through dominance but through resilience, creativity, and a refusal to yield. The path ahead was uncertain, but the spirit that had carried humanity through its darkest days would guide it forward. In the skies above the Council's former capital, a human ship unfurled a banner bearing Earth's emblem intertwined with symbols of its allies. It was a declaration to the galaxy: humanity had not just survived, it had reshaped the stars. And so, as the first tentative steps toward a new galactic order began, the story of humanity's rise became a beacon for those who had long suffered in silence. For in their triumph, the galaxy saw not just the end of an old regime, but the dawn of something extraordinary.